welcome back to Why Not, the podcast, with your hosts,
Ben, I'm Ben.
And Rachael.
And it's going to be a brilliant week. How are you?
I am good.
You didn't sound sure.
No, I'm good.
You're good. We're good. We're both good.
We're just eating and I can just taste food in my mouth.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's my mother's home cooking.
It's nice. It was lovely.
You should be delighted. How am I? Thanks for asking, Rach.
How have you? You didn't give me a chance.
Shush. No, I don't want your sympathy. How are you, Ben? Oh, I'm great. Thanks for asking. Dude, stop. Man, you're going to die. I just bought a new mic. Let's respect the mic. Respect the sound quality of the new mic. Respect all the equipment, like this fun thing that blocks out sound. I wonder if you can hear me touching it.
I reckon they can.
Oh, that'd be interesting to hear when I listen back. When I edit.
Anyway, how are you?
Well, first off, you don't need to shout anymore.
Ah,
Stop.
it's just the way I speak when I'm hosting. Gosh,
Okay.
man.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm just excited for my new mic. I want to hear the podcast rather than do the podcast.
I can't hear my own voice, so when I listen to it, I just listen to you.
Oh, that's really romantic.
It's not.
Oh. Well, yeah, so that's the how you doing segment that we had scheduled in. Should we get into the next little bit, the fun bit, where I get to say a word?
You can do if you want.
Coming up on this week's podcast,
we have the classic tea with. Should we say who it's with?
Yes.
It's tea with our good friend, Joe Mhandu. And then we're going to go onto the weekly watch list, and straight into that, we are going to go to our hot topic. This week's hot topic is he shells
seashells on the seashore, but the seashells that she sells aren't seashells, I'm sure.
This is going to be quick. He said, she said. And we have a fun game at the end.
We have a fun game.
I don't know.
And I hate that title.
He asked me, okay, can I just expand on it?
Something?
So the reason this is called Why Not is because Ben said, should we do a podcast? And I was like, yeah, why not? And then he asked me, oh, what should we call this game? And I was like, I don't know.
Yes, and I hate it.
I'm just going on with the trend, okay, man? But this week's episode is going to be very chilled, kind of playing a game, a bit of debate, and I feel like we are very, very movie-based this week.
We are, because that's when you want to relax, what do?
You watch films.
You watch a film and you watch some
TikTok.
TV. No. You watch a film or you watch some TV, or you don't do anything, but never TikTok.
Sleep.
But never TikTok.
Okay.
Yes.
Shall we go into our first segment?
Yeah, let's do that thing where we play some music and then we talk later like nothing happened before.
Let's go.
Okay, Rachel, stick your kettle on, pour yourself a tea, put your sweetener in or your sugar, add the milk, stir around, press the tea bag in the bin. Is that the sound of it? Just a... That's the sound
but
of
it lands in the bin.
Okay, well, Rach, this week we're being asked a question by my good friend.
Your good friend.
My good friend.
I'm my friend.
My good friend. My good friend and friend of the podcast. Find our good friend and friend of the podcast, Joe Mhandu. And he's got an interesting question, a question that I knew what it was and I forgot to prepare for. So here's Joe's question.
Bonjour, Ben and Rachel. My question to you is, what is your favourite piece of music or, album, song, whatever, or artist, anything like that? Just like to know. There you go. Boom. Big fan of the podcast.
I love the energy in Joe's voice.
Joe is a very musical guy, if you don't know who Joe is. He's
got a band.
Yep, and he plays keys.
Yeah, he plays keys in his band.
He's amazing.
Shades Official. Check it out on Instagram. We'll link them below.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
He said bonjour.
Bonjour, Joe. Bonjour, Joseph. That was my French accent.
Have you got an answer to this? I am
You are.
I don't listen to that much
You don't
music.
listen to
I
that
listen
much
to
music.
what do you call it? Worship music mainly, and podcasts.
Yeah, and rubbish music as well.
I'll have a look at my podcast right now.
On your
I'm gonna
podcast.
go on my Spotify.
I see. There's a lot of music I like. There's a lot of songs that are good. I think. Let's have. It's a really hard question, Joe. Do you know who I really like? Who I strangely like? Billy Joel. You know the guy who sing us a song. You're the piano man.
Sing us.
Play us. Because of you get the wrong. You sing this song all the time. You always get the words wrong, and
I
it
do it
always
on
annoys me.
purpose.
Yeah, and it's had this effect. But Piano Man, really good song. Billy Joel, love a bit
I
of Billy
sang you
Joel.
that song the other day, didn't
Yeah, when you called me on my Alexa. It's a great song.
I? I'm gonna go a bit romantic. I think I've thought of a couple.
Sort of a couple.
So
Angelina
our song is
You and I Always.
You and I Always by Jake Isaacs.
Is it Isaacs or is it Isaac? Keep talking. I'm gonna find the answer.
But yeah, that's our song. It's very chilled. I wish we could play a bit, but I don't think we are allowed.
Yeah, we can.
You and I Always.
Yeah, okay, let's go.
You're okay. Let's go.
That's it. That's all we can play. I think it's Jake Isaac.
Isaac. Yep, I love him. Not as much as I love you.
I was gonna say.
But I also like a bit of Harry Styles. Sprinkle.
Watermelon sugar high.
Bit of sprinkle of
Watermelon
that.
sugar high. Watermelon sugar high.
Stop it.
Watermelon sugar high.
I'm gonna leave. Not just the podcast, Ben.
I want your
Bye.
No.
Let me speak, man.
Okay.
I also like classic noughties music. You know, like
Classic music or noise music?
classic noughties music. You know, like since you've been gone.
What about Coldplay? They're classic noughties.
Have you got any others?
I'm surprised you didn't say any of the latest Justin Bieber stuff.
Oh, I love that one
Yeah.
with Chance the Rapper.
Yeah.
Holy, 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 holy,
holy.
make you feel my love.
That's a different song.
I know, it's a damn.
To make you feel my love.
Lucky.
Yeah, by Jason Mraz.
Mm-hmm. Oops, bye, 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 bye.
How was
I suppose you're not doing it in the voice though.
Something wasn't right.
Bye, 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 bye. Bye.
You sounded kind of
bye.
Shakira.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Anyway, Joe. Stop. We'll get copyright.
Oh, you know what song is great? Why are there so many
Don't. I am going to leave.
about
I'm
rainbows?
not even joking. Ben,
What's
stop.
on the
If you don't
other
stop,
side?
I'm going to fall out with you. He's like, oh, when you first did that a couple of times, I was like, oh, that's so good. Mainly because we weren't dating then, and I didn't need to tell the truth.
Rainbows or
But
visions?
I'm going to get really
Okay.
angry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. They're only illusions. Rainbows have nothing.
Ben!
You gotta do the whole song.
No, you don't! If you want to do it, you can leave this room.
Okay. Joseph Mhandu.
You made us have an argument in the end.
Joey. Jojo. Joey Jojo.
Jose.
Joey Jojo.
Jose.
We're really sorry that this is the best we could answer your question.
But I was about to type at him his Instagram, but I feel like we didn't do that for Hannah last week, so we can't really.
We can do both.
He has a weird thing.
Joe doesn't have a weird thing. He's got
Oh no, he's
Joe
not.
MXU.
That's the weird thing, that MXU. At Joe MXU, and Hannah is
Hannah
at
Mumba.
Hannah Mumba.
Yeah. But it's double O, not a U. For Mumba.
Mm-hmm.
Just in case you're listening on the airwaves and you didn't know how to spell it. There's a little plug for you.
But yeah, there you go. Drop him a follow. Great content. And once you
Brilliant
come really,
content.
really close with Hannah, you end up on a friends
A
list.
close friend story, and you get to see
And-
pictures of Harry Styles that people have tweeted.
Not just that, but when she's sorry, Joe, I know it's your week, but when she posts about like Love Island and she has a commentary or anything like that, it's amazing. So
Me and Hannah
become
only
friends.
talk when Bake Off's on.
Become friends with Hannah. Joe, if you like
Joe has a band.
Formula One.
Yeah.
We could literally talk about our friends all day. So if you're one of our friends that you want to shout out, drop us a message going, can I ask a question? Because we'd love it.
And Joe, if you want to start an F1 podcast where all we do is talk about Lewis Hamilton maybe crashing so someone else can win,
They're horrible.
we can start. We're not horrible. We want someone else to win, and we figured out the only way to get rid of Lewis Hamilton is puncture his tyre or something.
Horrible people. Anyway, that has been my tea with Joe.
Yeah, it has. Can you imagine if this podcast takes off and we get asked to like host the Grammys, and then someone's like, "We just dug up that Ben wants Lewis Hamilton to die."
Yeah.
That's it for tea with. Have you
Joe.
finished drinking your tea? You've left some tea in the cup. You got so busy that you left some tea in the cup. Don't drink it now. It's cold. Your tea's gone cold. Pour it down the drain.
That was
Wash the
water.
mug. Wash the mug. Get the mug washed. Hang the mug back up on the tea, the cup tree thing. At the sound of it being hung up. And now we move on to our next segment. Let's play some more music and we talk again. No, I put the music on afterwards. Rachael Hall, welcome to my favourite segment that we get to do. It's the weekly watch list.
Woo!
Do you have any recommendations for the week?
I do. I'm going to say more or just one?
Say one, break it down. Say the other,
Okay.
break it down.
Break it down, break it down, break it
This is
down.
the third week of doing this. You know how it works. What?
I'm doing
No one knows what you're doing.
like the DJ.
Yeah, but no one can see that.
I know.
And it's not squeak, squeak.
So I found a podcast and it's called Relaxed
Relax.
with Colleen Ballinger and her husband.
She has
Eric.
a husband.
She's married.
I know, she's got a kid.
Kid's the cutest thing in the world.
I am.
Debatable. But basically, it's basically what we do. They're just sat and they've realised they don't have any time to relax. So this is the time when they can relax.
I bet they didn't have any
And
arguments about Kermit in
I
their
bet- yeah.
podcast.
Yeah. And ironically, so I recommended this game we're doing,
Yes.
and then I watched their podcast and they do this game too.
Idiots.
Crazy. But they're just really fun. They're just like us, I think. But yeah, Colleen Ballinger and Eric, forgotten his last name. they're-
Skarsgård.
I don't know what that is. Their podcast you can get on Spotify and on YouTube. YouTube's really entertaining because you can actually see them.
I
But yeah.
still think we should do a video podcast.
Maybe
You
one day.
always say no.
One day.
You always say
It means
no.
putting more effort in, mate.
Yeah, well, what's wrong with putting effort in? People want to believe that you love this podcast, and no one's got to believe it. I'm going to have to replace you. It'll be me and Joe, and you'll be sending in little guest questions.
My next one
Your next one?
is it's a Netflix show.
A
We both
Netflix
watch
show.
this, don't we?
Yeah.
It's called Dream Home Makeover, and it's about these people that go into like houses
And they make over your dream homes.
They make over their dream home.
I've
yeah.
got to be honest, though, I don't think I've ever seen them do one that is my dream home.
I like a lot of this.
But they always do really posh people houses. I just want to live in like a nice house. And they're like,
Yeah.
right, you've got a huge basement. We're going to give you a basketball court. Not a basketball court. Basement's
But
where you go and play PlayStation, not where you go and play sports.
Their style's nice, though, isn't it?
Yeah, they have a nice rug.
So yeah, it's just it's husband and wife. They have a business.
Yeah,
and
I don't know what he does.
He's just very entertaining,
It's
and
a wife, really.
he's great. The two kids in it as well, cute as well.
Yeah, I like watching him get emasculated sometimes when he's trying to have manly conversations and she tells him off.
But anyway, it's a really cool program. You should watch it. Ben likes it, so that just says something.
Yeah, they have 2 little daughters that eat donuts when they're not meant to.
Yeah.
That's all I remember from it.
Oh, and they want to swim in ice cream.
They want to swim in ice cream, yeah. One of them wants to, the other said that'd be disgusting. She said, you get all sticky.
But you swim. You do a straight way, you swim and
you scoop
it,
ice
you
cream
scoop-
into your
yeah.
mouth. I would do that. Would you do that?
sticky. We had a question, right, in our group in Connect.
Yeah. No one knows what Connect is.
Anyway.
You had a question.
We had a question. It was like, would you prefer to swim in
Poop.
What was it? Nutella?
No.
Or what was it? Oh, it's like not treacle. I think it was treacle.
Syrup?
Might be syrup.
Well, I mean, they're basically the same thing. So one or the other. I think I'd go with treacle or syrup.
I'll go Nutella.
Okay.
Because it's less sticky.
And we could make a really big pancake and we could both run at it. We've made a perfect pancake.
I think Nutella would be better to swim in.
Nah. You can't swim in that. It's not really a liquid.
Yeah, but you're not going to get sticky.
You will. Look at covered in chocolate. You get chocolate everywhere.
Yeah, but it's not as sticky as syrup.
Syrup tastes nice.
That'll take ages to get out your hair. I don't like syrup either.
I would shave my head and then wax the hair stubble out
Never do that.
just to swim in syrup.
Never do that.
I'd look like the last airbender. Look like Kang from Avatar. Like,
the next one is this song going around. There's many reasons why I like this song. It's just a cool song called Driver's License.
I got my driver's license
last week with Olivia Rodrigo.
From High School Musical to Musical the series.
Yeah.
I didn't actually know that I was right. I just assumed.
But yeah, it's a really cool song. It's very different to a lot of normal songs.
I have a question.
What?
Is she Gabriella in High School Musical the Musical the series?
She plays Gabriella in the musical.
She play as in Troy, listen. I gotta say what's on my mind.
Yeah.
Something about us.
Honestly, I'm gonna lose my plot with him this week.
Things keep getting in the way.
Previous week he doesn't talk, and when I'm trying to talk this week, he just talks over me. It's fun.
Whatever
He always
slip
flinches.
away. So hard to say, but I
Ben.
gotta do what's best for me. You'll be okay. Okay, I'll stop singing. You can carry on. Don't go on your phone. We're podcasting.
Yeah, well, shut your face when I'm trying to talk.
You sound so angry.
I am.
This is a happy podcast.
No, not anymore. She made me really sad. It's your fault. But it's a really unique song. But also there's loads of memes that come from it, and it's some tea.
Some tea.
Some tea. So apparently the song's about this guy who she was with and then ended up with someone else, right? The girl who she don't even mention her. She just says,
the blonde
with the
girl.
blonde girl.
Yeah.
Do you know the one everyone's saying the blonde girl is?
The one from High School Musical, the musical, the series.
No, she's not
she's
from
not.
that. No.
Is she in Wizards of Waverly Place?
No.
Oh, what's she in?
Another Disney show.
Oh, they're the two I know.
But yeah, she's released a song, kind of like going at her.
There's a lady in the car.
No,
She's
she was
watching
like,
me.
you only use blonde girl because it's the only thing that rhymed. And it's like,
Is she like Eminem dropping distress?
honestly, it's so pathetic. Just let this girl have a good song. But yeah, it's quite funny and entertaining. But also, it's actually a really good song. And then finally, a new show we just started. Well,
We started watching.
You were asleep.
I wasn't asleep. I was listening to it because you didn't need to see it because it's just people talking.
Called Spycraft on Netflix. And it's basically talking about how spies do spy work.
Yeah.
And it talks about, each episode's about different. So one's about listening, like, yeah, putting mics in places. Another one's about poison.
Yeah.
And hashtag UK is in it.
Salisbury.
You say so weird. Say how you say it.
Salisbury.
It's
There's
not-
an I in it.
It's Salisbury.
There's an I in it.
It's not called Salisbury.
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 There's an I in it.
Salisbury.
But anyway, yeah, it's really good. We've watched like 2 episodes at the minute.
Yeah.
But I said last night when we were watching it that only one of the guys actually looks like he would be a spy. But I've had time to reflect reflect on what I said, and
Did
I've
you?
noticed he must be the worst of the spies. Because if you're a spy, you don't want to look like a spy.
I think I'll be a cracking spy because no one would guess it.
No, you think that, but you'd be like trying to screw a mic into a wall. You'd drop the screwdriver 3 times. Everyone would be looking at you. You'd be like, I'm sorry, I'm just putting a mic into the wall.
You proper belittle me. Honestly.
I'm helping you with your cover here. No one's gonna suspect you.
He belittles me. Honestly. That used to be my dream job as a kid as well. Anybody watched MI High? They know.
I liked it when the pens used to start beeping, and they were like, I gotta go into the cleaning cupboard.
That made me want to be a spy. I always sat there in my classroom like, please, 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 come and get me.
I remember when we found out that the girl in MI High is the British lady in the morning show.
Yeah, cracking TV show. Man.
Cracking TV show, but we've never recommended that.
We haven't. We'll do that
maybe
one
next week.
Anyway, Ben, what's your recommendation?
My recommendations, obviously, more WandaVision.
WandaVision is very interesting. You know why? Because it's just very fascinating, and yeah.
At least what I say is to weigh into a conversation, but WandaVision is really good, and I think you're secretly enjoying it.
It's all right. It's all right. I watched this week and he didn't
Great.
talk to me throughout it, so I actually kind of enjoyed it
Because
more.
you told me I wasn't allowed to. So I watched it Friday morning. I told my friend about it on Saturday. There's going to be a noise of a donut bag being crinkled now. I told my friend about it Friday afternoon, and we watched it Saturday afternoon. So I got the hype out of my system by then. But it's really good. You should definitely watch it. My other recommendations. So I've got 2 things I want to recommend. The first thing is it's a show I'm 1 episode into, and it's called The Magicians, and it was pitched to me as it's Harry Potter but they're saying swears. It kind of is. It's really quite good. It's like,
Don't swear, kids.
there's a magical kind of world hidden from sight, kind of like the Wizarding World, and there is.
Why didn't you recommend it to me?
I didn't think you'd like it.
I love Wizard of Waverly Place.
It's not Wizards of Waverly Place. At one point, a girl, she's told she doesn't have magical potential, and they're going to make her forget the place, and she doesn't want to forget the place, so she cuts herself. As a reminder. This ain't Wizards of Waverly Place, right?
Yeah, but it's like it's growing
These
up.
are the big leagues.
It's like
Watch
it's
it
growing
then.
up.
Okay. And then the other thing I want to recommend is I found a show on. I bought it on Prime. I bought seasons 1 and 2 because there was only 2 seasons of the Australian version, which came first. And it's this show. The idea of it is brilliant, and it's just great. It's called No Activity, and it's about 2 policemen in an unmarked police car, and they're doing a stakeout. And obviously, No Activity is like they kept getting radioed of like Car 72 report, and they're like No Activity. So it's called that, but it's like the show is it's 3 conversations taking place, and it's the guys in the car, the criminals, and the 2 people in dispatch. It's a really good show, and they've made an American adaptation. I'm going to start that soon.
Another show you don't tell me about. You tell me shows that I have no interest in.
I found this show at about 11:30.
Well, yeah.
I also watched it when I was about 17. And I've revisited it because I found out there was an American version that's still going. So I'm watching the Australian one on Stan. So yeah, that's another way you can watch it for free. If you get a VPN, an Australian VPN, you can watch Stan.
Well, that's been the weekly watch list.
Yeah, it has. Was it good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured out I need to get food for Ben next time when I'm talking. See, just spoke over me again.
You liked that song.
I'm used to it because I never get you know this as a fact that when I'm in a group setting with my family of really close family friends, because I tell you something, it's not just my family now. I'm not going to say who because I don't want to be
me.
No.
Oh.
Like really close family friends are basically family, and like friends and stuff. It's like I got no words coming out of my voice. There's no sound coming out of my mouth sometimes. I'm like speaking and no one's listening.
I tell you what, presenting this podcast on my own for 8 episodes. It's been a strange experience.
You know this. I can't get a word in.
I love it. I like watching you talking in
Cry.
the room, and your mum's in the room, and you can be like, "Mum, she won't notice," and then you go, "Calf." She's like, "What?"
And then it was like a group conversation. I'm like, eh? Or I start talking and I'll just get spoken over. Anyway, sorry. Please help me and message me and pray
Well,
for
this
me.
was the weekly watch list.
It's been a
See, I
weekly
did it
watch
again.
list.
Comedy gold. Should we play some music again, and they get to listen to 2 seconds of music?
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Hey, we are here.
Let's do that again.
Sorry, yeah. So we are now on the hot topic subject. Excuse me, you please speak at this point. We are at the hot topic. I'm not going to do it.
You're not going to do it?
No.
Every week you sing your annoying Hot Topic
What
song.
is it?
I'm not singing it.
Hot topic.
Thought you were going to do it.
Yeah, thought same, man.
So
Okay, so this week hot topic, we're not really. It's more of a fun
yeah,
game, kind of. It's not a game, but
it's a conversation, but I think these are the conversations people are having out on the streets.
yeah. So it's called He Said, She Said, and what it is.
I was going to say, he said, she
No,
said
Ben,
on the seashore.
honestly-
but he says that she said on he said, I'm sure. Carry on.
It's not funny.
It is.
It's not.
It is. Someone's laughing.
Yeah, they're laughing at you, not with you.
I don't mind. I laugh to laugh.
So we have 8 movies, and if we can think of any others, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about it very controversially, aren't we? We're talking about the endings. Are the endings good? Is the film good? Like, just, yeah.
Yes. Would you like to hear the 8 films we've got?
Let's just wait. Let's keep them waiting. So they don't skip.
We're just going to have complete silence.
No, just do
No,
the
I
first
meant
one.
like...
Don't read them all.
No, it was just an intro. Like, would you like to hear the 8 films? Then I'll go one by one.
Okay.
So let's try that again. Would you like to hear the 8 films we've got?
Yes. I came up
Okay.
with most of these.
Not true. Film number 1.
That is true.
Film number 1. Inception.
Cracking film. Amazing
Cracking
film.
Yeah. Oh, what a corker.
Crap ending.
Who's your favourite? Inceptor.
I can't say the classic.
Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah.
See, I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt's underrated in that film.
Oh, is he the guy from 10 Things I Hate About You?
He is indeed.
I love that kid.
He's brilliant in the film, and Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever clocked that Tom Hardy and Cillian Murphy are in that film.
And they're both in Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, and they're both like main characters in the film as well, and no one ever remembers them for that.
Yeah, I love Cillian Murphy.
I think...
If Sophie Ingram Smith is listening, I'm with you, girl.
No, if her husband is listening... Right, I'm going to put another poll on the Instagram story. Cillian Murphy, does he or does he not look like a melted wax figure of himself?
No, but when he's in Peaky Blinders.
He still does. His eyes are so far back into his head.
You're just jealous. Guys are just jealous.
There's a comedian, I think he's called Jeff Dunham, and he's got a load of puppets, and one of them's a skeleton, and he has like sunken eyes. That's what Cillian Murphy looks like.
He's fit, man.
No, he's not.
In Peaky Blinders.
No, he's not. He's the same man with short hair.
Anyway, Inception. We need to talk about it.
Yeah. What do you think the ending is? Should we refresh them on what happens?
We should shout out. If you don't want to know any spoilers, we'll announce the film.
Yeah.
And then you can decide whether you want to know. Because there's going to be loads of spoilers, isn't there?
Yeah, I'll maybe, if I can be bothered, put the time codes in the description that you could skip past.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, right. Inception, here's the plot. They have to incept people's dreams. So they find out they can go into people's dreams and they can't tell them to change their minds about something, but they can plant an idea. And they have these little, like, trinkets that, like, there's maybe like a certain weight to them.
1 minute. Let's not do the Ben talking vision. Like, briefly recap it then.
This is what I'm saying. This isn't the whole film. They have these little trinkets. The trinkets, they'll either have a weight or they'll do something, or like if it's a die, it'll always land on a certain number if you're if you're in a dream. So for Cobb, the main character, if he spins a spinning top, it will keep spinning if he's in a dream. And it's meant to, you can never let anyone else hold it or generally see it. So it could never be replicated if someone incepted you.
Yeah. So, the ending.
Yes.
So, he had a wife and she killed herself because they incepted, made their own world in a way. And she thought she was still in the dream. So, to get out of the dream, you kill yourself.
Yeah.
So, she thought she was still in a dream. So
but that's also how they found out that if you're in a dream and you kill yourself, you're dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't die in the dream, but you need to give yourself a shock.
Yeah. So falling was going to be that shock for her.
So she was like, we're still in the dream. And he's like, no, we're not in the dream. So she falls off a building and she dies.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes into this dream and it's the darkest place of all the dreams, isn't it? And then he spins the spinning thing.
You should really explain that he was accused of killing his wife.
Yeah.
And so he couldn't see his kids.
Yeah. So he ended up going in. We don't know if he does, but in the end scene, he's back home with his 2 kids.
Mm-hmm. And his wife's dad, who is Michael Caine.
Yes. And then he spins it, but he doesn't stop. But does it stop? We don't know if it carries on going.
Yeah.
So is that a dream? Is he dead in his dream?
Yeah.
It's really, if you don't know the film, watch it. It makes more sense because I feel like this won't be a spoiler because you won't have a clue what I'm about. But at the end, he spins the spinning top and the camera stops
Mm-hmm.
filming. So is it a dream or not? I think it's a crap ending because I want to know.
See, I watched an interview with Christopher Nolan who did it, and he gave like an amazing reason for the ending.
So you can make your own mind up.
Shut up with your mockery. He was basically saying no one's gonna like, well, not everyone will like the ending to the film because your 50% of your people will want to be like, no, I want him to be awake and he's finally got back with his kids. Whereas 50% will be like, wouldn't it be cool if he never got out of the dream? So he was saying that it's an ending that you decide because that way everyone can always be pleased with the outcome.
But I'm not.
No, you don't like the ending, but you're pleased with the outcome that you give yourself because if you want him to wake up, he's woken up.
Yeah, but I can't. I need someone to tell me.
Fine. He woke up.
I'm a classic of I like a good ending, and even though I'd be like, oh, it's such a generic film, I like it because if someone dies or if they break up and they never get back together.
You're the Grinch of good movies.
No. Tenet. I don't know why we put this one on, to be honest.
See, my thing with Tenet is I just wanted to suss out what we think of the film. Because it divided people, I think.
It's a good film. No idea what really happened, but it's a good film.
I think the plot is the easiest thing about the film. So it's 2 guys, right? And they're going forwards and backwards in time at the same time.
Why are they doing it?
Because there's a Russian guy who's got something to end the world.
Oh, yeah.
And they have to stop it because some guy who invented this inversion technology, I think it's like a bomb. He's hidden like 3 parts of this bomb in different parts of the world.
Yeah.
And they have to get it and move it.
Yeah.
And so they're going backwards and forwards to like avoid enemies and do attacks and whatever.
This is definitely one where we won't get any spoilers because you won't have a clue what we're talking about again. I think it's a good film. I feel like if I watched it again, it would be a bit more clearer to me.
Yeah.
I got the plot twist straight away.
Which plot twist?
Should I just say it?
Yeah.
Do you know when the 2 guys in the suits and they're fighting themselves? You can't see yourself as well.
Yeah.
But I said as soon as we watched, I went, that's them. They're fighting themselves.
I also think the fight choreography in that film is amazing.
It is impressive.
Because they did that. They fought backwards.
Yeah, it's impressive. Good film. Any controversial bit on it? Any could be controversial again.
Yeah, so the ending is basically the way I interpret it is, so John David Washington, he actually is the founder of the organization they work for. So he's going forwards in time to a point where he's got to create the organization. And the little boy, who is the Russian guy's son, is actually Robert Pattinson as a kid. And so he has to go on and recruit Robert Pattinson. So they've known each other for years, but they're heading in different directions.
Yeah, because I thought that. What's his name? David Washington.
John David Washington.
John David Washington. He gets recruited though.
He gets recruited because the kind of part of the mission for Robert Pattinson is to recruit. Well, is to kind of cause the events that recruit John David Washington. So he's going forwards in time to create the organization to send someone back in time.
And then he's Robert Pattinson says, "This is your life now."
Yeah.
And that's it.
Well, yeah, in part. He
the
says
army is always called, the people who work for that army kind of organisation, their life role is just to go in a loop.
Yeah. But like it's the thing of, so Robert Pattinson knows that kind of immediately after the events of the ending, he's got to go back in time and die straight away, saving John David Washington from getting shot, so that John David Washington can go forwards and create it.
If you saw my face right now, I'm confused. It was a good film.
Yeah, I also think it's one of the best things of time travel in a movie, that it's not just hop into a new point in time, but it's time inversion and everything goes backwards so you can get to a different point.
Yeah. I think you should watch it. I think I've got an idea. We should watch it with like my mum. Because I think if I'm watching it with someone new, I could probably in my head figure it out and explain it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you'll need to explain everything to your mum because she'll be on her phone the whole time.
Going back to Inception, we were watching it, and if you're watching Inception, put your phone away. Yeah. And then my mum sat there halfway through, she's like, I don't get this. What is happening? I was like, Mum, you're on your phone and the laptop. Are you not watching it? And it's like, my mum has the skill, like every parent has, is multitasking, being on a laptop, watching TV, and all you want to do is watch your TV. But I was like, Inception, you have to watch it. And it's like, I got it because I just watched it. So, yeah.
Titanic.
I don't think there was enough room on it.
There is.
There is enough room, but when you think about the physics, if you don't know what I'm about, Titanic ending, they're on a board and
it's a door.
A door. Rose is laying on it, and Jack's in the water. Let's go with Jack. I don't think there is, because when you think about it, yes, there was enough room, but with the weight of both of them, would it have sunk?
No, it would float.
How do you know?
Because that's what floating does.
Yeah, but there weren't enough material of the thing to carry them both.
But you've got to think, right? If we're assuming it's a normal sized door, let's just.
I think Jack, 1 minute. Jack.
You could fit someone. If I'm at the bottom end of the door, you could fit someone at the top end of the door. If I position myself on the left side of the door at the bottom and you on the right side of the door at the top, that door would float and there would be enough room.
I do agree, though.
Myth busted.
Rose should have gone in the water and Jack should have been safe.
Yeah, because Jack, he had potential, but he didn't have a good life. She had a great life and she had no potential.
Exactly.
Yeah, she was a screw up and a letdown, and she let Romeo and Cobb die.
I think if Jack was on the board, everybody swear down, right? If Jack was the one who got saved and he survived, everyone would be like, yeah, there was no room. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah, but he deserved to survive. She didn't.
So the next one is.
This is my decision because it weirds me out, and it's weirded me out for about a year now.
Twilight. I feel like you're hogging the mic.
Well, no, because we're actually both way too close because you're not meant to be near it.
Yeah, so Twilight.
Twilight.
What's your beef?
What's my beef? My beef with Twilight is the fact that, so Edward and Kristen Stewart, they have a child. And then that child... Renesmee, which, right, that first thing, that's not a name, and it doesn't sound good.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
Right, so first off, yeah, scrap that. Second off, this kid, yeah, it grows up fast, still 7 years old,
Immaturity grows as well.
It doesn't matter. He's still a 7-year-old by law. And Jacob imprints on that child, and imprints for a little werewolf and a vampire. They've fallen in love.
They don't know they've fallen in
They've
love.
fallen in.
You
There's a
don't know.
montage of them walking on a beach.
He might just be protecting
He's
him like a
fallen in
brother.
love. He's fallen in love with this child vampire. He has, and it's weird. It's the weirdest thing.
I'm not commenting because Ben will just. He has to be right.
I don't have to be right, but it's so weird.
It's a little bit weird, but I feel like if you're a dedicated fan, you understand it. Because it's a story. So that story plot has gone from the very beginning. And imprinting, you can't control it. But also, this kid is also maturity, the same age as him. And not just that, imprinting doesn't mean you've fallen in love. Imprinting can just be like, I'm protecting you.
If they wanted to suggest that he's protecting her, there'd be a montage where she's outside a dark club and like 6 guys walk up to her and he just like lands in front of her dressed as Batman, punches them and goes, "I am vengeance." That's protecting. He doesn't do that.
I'm not going to say anything
Get
more
away from
because
the
Ben
mic.
has to be right. Does not fucking editing. We've had this conversation too many times. I don't know everybody who is a fan of the films. Katie, you're a fan. Will agree with me. Thank you.
It's a terrible ending.
And
I
good
can
night.
hear the dog.
Jasper.
1 second. Talk. Find the dog.
Our next film. Jasper, come here.
Hey, buddy. That was the small bit of the podcast where the dog came. Bye-bye, dog. The dog was here. Yeah, it's weird. Don't like Twilight. Right. Here's a film that you enjoyed the film. You hated the ending.
Oh,
We're going to talk about Murder on the Orient Express.
this is a big spoiler because it is a murder mystery and it is trying to guess who it is.
It came out 5 years ago.
Words can't amount of how frustrated I was. Murder mysteries, right? You're sat there trying to guess who it is. I believe a murder mystery should end with 1, at the most 2 people who murdered the victim, right? Do you agree?
Yes.
The ending to Murder on the Orient Express is that when your teacher says at the front, "I'm going to write a story, but don't you dare say it was all a dream at the end. You'll have no marks."
Yeah.
In this film, they were all the murderers.
Yeah. They were all the murderers.
Fuming.
My issue with it is I feel like it could have been really good, but I think at the end they decided, and I know that obviously it's based on a book and that's probably how the book ends.
It's been done too many times.
Yeah, but it kind of feels like they decided at the end, like, oh, it should be all of them, because at no point in the film did it feel like it was ever amounting to that.
Yeah.
Because there should be little hints in a film, like, this is how it's going to end.
Like, if you're going to have a couple of people, yeah, that's fine. But every person.
I think it should have been Daisy Ridley and Josh Gad.
I can't actually remember.
Well, Daisy Ridley is the lady from Star Wars, and he met her on the boat at the beginning. And Josh Gad is Olaf.
I know who Josh Gad is. I just can't remember the characters.
But winter's a great time to stay in and cuddle and put me in summer, and I'll be a happy snowman.
Honestly, though, it made me so annoyed because it's a great film.
Yeah, until the end.
Until the end.
Sad ending. I was really hoping that there'd be kind of more to it. You know, like he'd accuse everyone, and then maybe like one person would gradually hunt them down.
I kind of wanted it to be the guy who investigated with him.
Yeah.
That would have been a lot better.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the new one, Death on the Nile.
Yeah. There better be a better ending.
Russell, whatever you call him, Russell Brand. I think there will be, because I think that's the ending to the book, and I don't think Agatha Christie would have got that famous if she was like, every book I write, everyone did it.
Yeah. So that's an issue with that.
Yep. Next film, The Truman Show.
Hate it.
It's a brilliant film.
Hate it.
It's a cinematic masterpiece.
It's weird.
It's brilliant. Why?
Just boring.
It's not.
Weird.
It's great.
Pointless.
Good.
Rubbish.
It's good. It's worth the watch.
I watched it. I was like, not just watched it. Someone was like, "Oh my gosh, you should watch it. We're gonna buy it." We rented it.
Yeah. It's a
And it
good
was
film.
Disappointing.
Because you slagged it off the whole time.
It was rubbish.
It's a really good film.
I also got told the ending, so that might have affected it.
See, I feel like you know the ending all the way through. Well, I mean, you do, because like a camera drops down from the sky or a satellite or something.
Yeah.
And you see
but-
them in the thingy. It's more that like it gradually unfolds.
It was rubbish.
Yeah. I do think if anything's done a better job at life inside a TV show, WandaVision.
I was about to say, WandaVision is kind of the same thing. But,
Yeah. But I think they've done it better.
I feel like a bit of it kind of creeps me out, makes me feel a bit uneasy.
Have you ever thought you were living in a TV show?
What did I think? Like, have you ever thought like the world stops when I'm not there?
Yeah, I have. Like, if a tree falls in a woods and no one's there, does it still make a sound? That kind of thing.
Yeah, I never thought about that. I mean, like,
Well,
I'm
it's
with
a
you
phrase.
now, but if I went to the shop,
Yeah. Would I stop being?
yeah, and I used to think I was invisible.
Yeah. That's an interesting story. I feel like for another time because it's a long story.
Or a dream and a dream. Am I dreaming? Are we all in a dream?
Like the Matrix.
Is this my dream?
Yeah. Could be.
Is this a dream? Am I still asleep?
We don't have enough listeners for this to be a dream. If this was a dream, this would be going amazingly.
But you know what I mean? Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah. A
Yeah.
few times. Sometimes I think like I know that I'm thinking because I can hear my own thoughts.
Yeah.
I don't know that you're thinking
Yeah.
because I can't hear them.
It's like, is my green our green the same green?
Yeah, and happiness is one of them things, isn't it? My happy is not your happy. So when
Yeah.
you're feeling happy, that could be the feelings I get when I feel sad.
Mm.
Weird, isn't it?
Can you ever reach ultimate happiness?
This was meant to be such a chill week. You're like, can you ever reach real happiness?
Yeah.
It is a good question. Like,
Because
can anyone
you may
truly
be happy,
Yeah.
but is it like the full happiness because stuff is still going on?
And eventually you'll be sad again
Yeah.
because happiness never lasts.
You can have peace.
Everything good comes to an end.
You can have peace and feel joyful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But everything good will one day die.
The Truman Show.
This is the new podcast trailer. Everything good will one day die. Why not the podcast?
La La Land.
La La Land.
Ending. I feel like it was okay. Don't understand why it got the hype. I agree. They didn't deserve the Oscar after looking
Someone in
back.
the crowd could be the one you need.
Do you agree now looking back? Do you feel like the reason everyone was like, oh my gosh, it's a good show is because everybody hyped it up?
No, I really liked it.
But when you look back, it wasn't like Oscar worthy.
Someone in the crowd could be the one you need to know.
But you know what I mean?
No, I think it was. I think it's amazing because they balanced it so well, and it's meant to be like the way it's filmed
You
is
just have a
in.
crush on him, don't you?
No, I don't really think he's the best Ryan in Hollywood.
He's the best Ryan in Hollywood.
Ryan Reynolds. I think like
What
it's
about The Notebook?
no. If Ryan Reynolds was in it, yeah. But Rach can't watch the end of The Notebook. We'll get into that. The thing with La La Land is it's filmed like 70s and stop pretending to cry. It's filmed like 70s and 80s movies with like the cinemascape thing of like bright colours, and it's shot so well. A lot of it's one shot and it just feels like fluid movements, and the songs are great, and it's about jazz, and there's never musicals about jazz. Stop pretending to cry.
Be mean to Ryan Gosling.
Because Ryan Reynolds is better.
They both have their positives.
Ryan Reynolds is better.
Why can't everybody be the same?
Because they can't. Because all happiness comes to an end and nothing good ever lasts.
Oh.
He is quite good in Blade Runner 2049.
In The Notebook.
In Blade Runner 2049.
La La Land ending. I think it was alright.
Should we explain what the ending is?
Yeah, there's 2 endings.
Okay, you explain ending 1 and I'll explain ending 2.
You have to, I can't really remember that much. But is it they end up going their separate ways and she ends up with someone else and then they bump into each other in a jazz bar?
His jazz bar.
Yeah,
Chicken sticks.
Yeah, his jazz bar. But then they're like, oh, hi. Nice to see you, bye.
I'm pretty sure it's chicken sticks. And you can figure it out yourself, but if you say chicken sticks enough time, fast enough, it sounds really funny.
Why?
Yeah, do it after the podcast.
Is it rude?
Yeah. She's just mumbling chicken sticks to herself.
I don't know.
Okay, I'll explain afterwards. But yeah, so they go their separate ways. He opens a jazz club, but we don't know they go their separate ways. It's they seem all happy, and then it cuts to, I think it's like 3 years later, and she calls her kids down, and the kids come in, and then this other guy comes home from work, and then they go to a jazz club, and he's there, and he looks at her, but then it cuts to some montage of if she never took the acting job in Paris, or if she did take it. Yeah, she didn't take it, and she ended up with this guy and had kids and whatever. But if she did take it, I'm pretty sure they moved to Paris, and they do this great like. It kind of reminds me of the original Mary Poppins with the kind of 2D animation style when they're running through it.
That what made 3D.
It's 2D.
It's not.
It's 2D.
It's not.
We'll watch it afterwards.
Okay.
It's really good though, and they run through, and
What
they're
could have
like,
happened?
yeah, and I think it deals with the Hollywood stereotype of every good relationship has to last forever, and it kind of explains that it was good for them in that period of time to have that relationship, but it just wasn't meant to be.
Don't date just for the sake of dating.
Yeah, but I am going to find the.
But what's your opinion? Was it a good ending?
I really liked it.
I don't know.
La La Land ending scene.
Somewhere in the crowd.
Someone in the crowd.
It's not 2D.
They're on those 2D sets.
Yeah, but they're not 2D.
No, the people aren't, but the people are obviously real. I mean, the 2D sets. Because it's like the sets they use in Mary Poppins, where they just paint some sets and they run around on it.
It's like the.
Oh, that's cool. Oh yeah, and it runs through different scenes in the film before taking them to their future.
So yeah, it's very. The ending's like a 1950s movie.
Yeah, but it's also like a 2 fingers up to Hollywood movies, and I kind of like it.
I like happy endings.
Nothing ends well, Rach. Everything good will die. I feel like the end of this podcast needs to be changing the name to Everything Good Will Die.
Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense. Boring ending.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not expect it.
Proper cop out there.
I think I was like 12 when I watched it, and I really didn't expect the ending.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it all the way through yet.
Yeah, I mean, I had the ending spoiled for me, but I had it spoiled for me years before I watched it. But I also think it is the same kind of thing of like, and it was all a dream, or everyone did it, just like, and he was dead the whole time.
It's a good film though. It's by that guy.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that name.
Joe just likes to be called Night.
Night.
Why not M? What does M stand for? Keep talking while I find out what M stands for.
Sixth Sense, yeah, good film. It was alright. Ending. I feel like when you first watch it, it's proper.
It's proper what?
Shock.
Yeah.
We haven't said what it is yet, but
Bruce Willis was dead. Oh, spoilers. Bruce Willis was dead.
I think first time you watch it, you're like, and especially when it came out.
Yeah.
It's like when they used to think Jaws was scary.
Yeah. I think Bruce Willis has only ever done 3 good films.
Go on.
Die Hard, Die Hard 2, and Die Hard with a Vengeance.
He's in Friends, isn't
Yeah. He wasn't the best character in Friends.
he? No,
And he's also apparently not very nice.
no, I believe that.
Yeah.
He's in Red.
He is in Red, yeah. I listened to a podcast where someone talked about why he does so many rubbish movies every year. And they were saying that he went through a big divorce with Demi Moore. And they were reckoning that because he has to pay Demi Moore.
You say it weird. But
Her name is Demi Moore. You're thinking it's Demi Moore, but it's Demi Moore.
Yeah, but you say it in a weird way, and I can't figure out.
It's
why.
Demi Moore.
I know it is, but you're saying it in a way, and I don't know what it is about the way you're saying it, but it's wrong.
I'll tell you what it is. The thing that's weird is obviously her name is Demi Moore, like all the people called Demi in the world, but she is too far up herself to accept the fact that her name is Demi.
I don't know, through divorce.
But yeah, so they went through a divorce, and obviously he'd have to pay a certain amount in alimony, and someone's got a theory that he just does like loads of rubbish movies every year so that he doesn't have to give her the money he made from good movies like Die Hard. And he's like, here's some money, and this year it's called Hard to Kill.
Yeah. Anyway, they were all our films.
Yeah, M. Night Shyamalan is actually called Manoj Niliyatu Shyamalan. So I don't know where he gets the night from, but M. Night Shyamalan.
There are films. That was the hot topic this week.
Yeah, any other films you want to talk about?
No.
No? No?
High School Musical.
We're all in this together.
It's the same storyline. Do you think she should have gone her own way?
I don't think she needed to. She was only leaving the golf course.
Exactly. So what's the whole like fuss when she's like, I need to go?
And they had phones at this point in time.
Like they weren't. She was only going because she said she needs to go because she's got early, like, a summer school or something.
Yeah. But what could really happen then is, Troy, I don't want to break up with you, but I'm going to summer school. I've got to tell you, I'm not going to be able to text you all day, but I'll text you when I can, and I'll ring you. I'll try and ring you once a day, and we'll still speak. And we'll keep in touch. Summer school's only for 3 weeks. I told you after that.
High School Musical 3.
Yeah.
This is what confuses me. She gets early acceptance again to her college.
Yeah.
School's still going on at this point.
Yeah.
But she just leaves.
But I think that's the kind of thing that they told me in college, that if I got offered an unconditional, I could leave.
Yeah, don't do that, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love High School Musical.
Yeah, what's your favourite High School Musical song?
Two.
Is it?
I was thinking that. No, it's the best one is one of the funniest is bet on it. When he's like, you need to watch it. It's so funny. His dance moves. That is the.
They can't see this. All they're gonna hear is your voice like that. Is the way.
He's amazing. He wiggles his hips. I love it.
It's the hands. He just like shakes his hands out, but he's got them close to his chest like a little dinosaur.
I also like him.
Looks like a muppet.
Boys are back. The boys are back. The boys back.
Don't at some point in that song they turn into kids?
Yeah.
Why do they turn into two little kids?
They're just showing the story when they were kids.
But they're still in the same scrapyard.
Yes, we used to hang out as a kid.
Okay. And my favourite bit of High School Musical is all the memes that came for the T for Troy. You know, like the T for vote Trump.
Yeah, I love all of it. Or take my hand. I try to convince Ben that could be when we get married in the future.
No.
Our first dance, but he's not.
Our first dance will be, Troy, listen. Gotta say what's on my mind.
Do you have any recommendations?
Doesn't seem right these days.
Copyright, we're definitely getting copyrighted.
Get it in the way. Nah, we're okay. Anyway, let's do some music and we can go to the next segment. Music.
This is a game I like to call I don't know. So, me and Ben like films.
Yes.
But we're very different type of taste in films.
Yeah. Before we begin, though, films or TV, what's better?
TV.
Yeah. Continue.
We'll do TV shows next time. So we're going to say a film title, and we've got to try and... I know what that one is.
Which one?
That one.
I'll do a different one, don't worry.
You told me about the other day. I'm the Bond that apparently is bad at remembering stuff. Anyway, so we're going to say film title.
Yeah.
And then the other person needs to guess what happens in it.
And we'll alternate between them.
This is the game I said. We did not copy the Relax podcast because I thought about it before that one came out.
Yeah, no one's going to listen to the Relax podcast.
My sister does.
Shh, she doesn't listen.
Relax.
Relax.
Do you want me to ask you first?
Yeah, go on.
So my films, guys. I'll explain at the end. First one, Monte Carlo.
Monte Carlo, right. I'm making the assumption here that it takes place in Monte Carlo.
Okay.
Would I be right?
I'm not telling you.
Okay, so I'm guessing the kind of crap that you watch. A girl, she moves to Monte Carlo. She's probably an author or a fashion designer, and she's moving away to what I assume is a coastal town/city in maybe Spain or Italy or somewhere nice in
Monte
Europe.
Carlo is an actual place, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Do you not know where it is?
I don't know where it is,
Okay.
but she's moved to Monte Carlo, and she probably lives in a nice villa that overlooks the beach and the sea. And she's a bit of a Grinch, you know. She's like, ugh, everything sucks. My boyfriend left me. My dad's dead. My mum doesn't love me. My stepmom's an idiot, and I'm an author, but I'm not very good at my job because I've got no inspiration, and someone needs to love me, but no one can. I'm unlovable. And she spends the first 30 minutes of the film, she's taking out her anger on the world, and she's, oh! And then she's in the shop or something, she bumps into this fella who's moved from New York to Monte Carlo, and he's like, oh my God, I recognize that accent, you're from New York, I'm walking here. And she's like, I'm walking here.
I regret doing this because Ben likes to drag things out.
And then she's like, I ain't got time for you. And she's like, no, I'm an author. I've got to go and write a book. Stay out of my life. And she keeps pushing him away. And he keeps pushing his way in and worming his way in. And then she's like, no, I want nothing to do with you. And then he's like, just let me in. You'll see. And she lets him in. And she accomplishes big things.
Got one thing right.
Go on.
Monte Carlo.
Go on, what happens in Monte Carlo?
Okay, so Monte Carlo, it's about your girl,
Uh-huh.
Selena Gomez.
It's got Selena Gomez in it.
It's got Blair, the person who plays Blair from Gossip Girl, and another girl.
That means nothing to me.
Gosh, you should know that. And basically, she's just graduated high school.
Mm-hmm.
And she's saved up to go to Paris.
Ah, it's in France.
And she goes with this girl she works with.
Don't they have the Grand Prix in
cafe.
Monte Carlo?
I think so.
That's
Joe,
what
let
I
us know. So they plan on going on this, and at her graduation, her stepsister turns up.
Not a stepsister.
they
I got it
just-
right that she had a step family.
Yeah, and they just don't really get along. So
You got
her,
that?
I don't know if her dad died.
Yes.
But her stepsister, her mum died, and obviously her dad and Selena Gomez's character's mum, they got married.
Yes.
And then
I got right that a mum
they
died.
said the only thing, not the main character's mum died.
Oh.
And they went, the only way you're going to go to Paris if you let, I think it's Emma,
We don't need to know her name. Blair.
goes with you.
Right.
So they go to Paris, but they don't have a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, a stepdad does, but they're like, no, we've saved up money, we're going to go off our own backs. And then they get this really cheap tour that's crap around Paris and a really cheap crap hotel that's nothing like it said. And then they go to the Eiffel Tower, and
As you
then
do.
on the top they see that their tour bus ends up going off without him. So they get trapped. So they get really upset.
Oh, no.
And then they start walking back to the hotel. Starts raining. go to this really posh hotel, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, look who it is! Look who it is!" And they mistake her for a famous person.
Selena Gomez. They think that's Selena Gomez over there.
Who's like part of like
No, I'm
the
not Selena
royal,
Gomez.
the royalty.
Yeah.
Then they're like, why don't you just pretend to be her? So she pretends to be this famous person.
What a great idea.
And then they go to Monte Carlo.
Uh-huh.
And then it's just, the classic. There's a guy, there's all these guys, and they fall in love. And then one of the characters, she's left her boyfriend back in Texas, but then he comes out chasing after her, and they're all happy.
So she did meet a guy who was also from America.
He's not.
Oh.
So
She met a guy.
Her friend
Yep.
is with someone.
Yeah.
And her friend's a bit older than her. But she was like, I'm going to go to Paris. And
Yes.
You didn't want to.
Great stuff.
But she meets
Wow.
a guy who's from Monte Carlo, the Selena Gomez. Yeah. And then they fall in love, but then he finds out, and then they get all upset. Then she ends up working in an orphanage that they raise money for. And then they meet, and then like, oh, they're happy. That's Monte Carlo.
Sounds dreadful.
It's a great film.
We're not watching it.
I don't want to watch it with you.
Rachael Hall, get ready. This movie, X-Men Days of Future Past. Go.
It's X-Men.
It's X-Men.
With Jennifer Lawrence.
She's in it. Well done.
Thank you. She's blue.
She's blue, yeah.
Um.
Why is she blue? Is she sad or is she a mutant?
She's a mutant.
She's a mutant.
Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
Days of Future Past. It's now set in the future. Or the past.
Right. Correct.
And they need to fight to save the world. Planets. Basically, a crap Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right, first off, it's not crap, it's brilliant. Are you going to keep going, or is that all you think's happening?
Days, and there's lots of days.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea.
You think that all that happens is it's either the future or the past.
Something goes wrong in the timeline zone.
I mean, everything's wrong with the X-Men timeline.
But you know what I mean? Like, something goes wrong in the...
Right. Let me explain to you. They're in the future, right? The film starts...
Got that right.
Well, the film starts in 2029. And then these sentinels, like these big robots, they're trying to kill all the mutants because people have decided that mutants are bad.
Can't have got that right.
No.
I said there's a
They're trying to kill the mutants. So Elliot Page she gets Wolverine, she puts him to sleep, and she sends Wolverine's mind back into the mind of him when he was in the 60s, because he doesn't age. So she sends him back then into young Hugh Jackman, though he looks the same. And then he goes and he finds the X-Men, or what's left of the X-Men, and he's like, this dwarf, I think it's Peter Dinklage who plays him, he's like, he's a bad guy and he wants to kill the mutants, and he succeeds, and in the future he's doing this because they think all mutants are bad. So they have to try and stop him from doing that. But then Magneto, he's one of the X-Men, or really is an X-Men villain, but sometimes he's good. He turns like bad and he's trying to kill the president, and he's like, Richard Nixon, you're friends with that dwarf and you should die. But then Mystique, Jennifer Lawrence, she is in it. She gets shot saving the dwarf's life. So Nixon decides that that mutants are alright. And saves the future.
I kind of got some of it right.
In a very brief way.
Okay. Another one. Chalet Girl.
Right. I'm going mainly off titles here, given, how, bad it is as a title. I'm guessing. Here's what I'm guessing.
It's on Netflix, so you've probably seen the cover.
Never heard of it. So, Chalet Girl. There's a girl, she lives in a chalet, right? I'm thinking either a ski chalet or, a beachside chalet.
Mm.
I imagine she wears blue. Does she wear blue?
I can't remember.
I imagine at many points in the film she's wearing a blue dress. And she meets a guy, and she's like, I'm so busy, I don't have time for guys. I like the beach or skiing. I like one of them. I don't want to meet a guy. I'm devoted to intentional singleness. Leave me alone. And then this guy's like, just let me in. You'll see. Let me change your life. I want to love you. And she's like, I'm going back to my chalet. And he's like, you're my chalet girl. And she's like, hey. And they get together.
No.
Oh. Okay. He dies.
No.
Oh.
So this girl, she's poor, from England,
Yeah.
and she used to be a pro skater.
Yeah.
And then she got in an accident. Her mum died as well, so she was looking after her dad really because his dad's hopeless.
Yes.
And then she ends up going on a ski season,
Wow.
and she becomes a chalet girl. And a chalet girl is like a chalet host.
I got the skiing right.
So she's like a host and cooks, cleans this chalet for the rich people, and this rich family own it.
Yes.
And then, she starts learning how to snowboard.
Right.
And then this guy who's one of the sons of the chalet owner,
Yeah.
they end up falling in love.
Yeah.
But then, he's got a girlfriend.
Okay.
She ends up falling in love with him. And then she learns how to snowboard, and then there's this competition where you win like 10 grand if you win the snowboarding competition. And then they fall in love and she wins.
How do people write these scripts
It's
and
got
things?
Chuck in it.
That means
Ed
nothing
Westwick.
to me. Okay, the guy from White Gold. So, basically, people sit there and they write these films and they think, this is groundbreaking.
It makes money because people like me watch it.
And you shouldn't. That's my point. Sounds dreadful. Right. Next film I'm going to pitch to you, Rach. The Interview.
Okay.
Okay.
This guy wakes up one day.
Right.
He's got this job interview he needs to go to. And he goes to the job interview.
Right, I know you watch crap films, but I don't.
Or it's a crime film.
Right.
And they're doing like the crime investigation interviews.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where have you been? What have you done on this day?
Okay.
And it's like some type of big crime that's happened, and it's basically interviewing this crime guy.
Right. Well, really close. It's about a TV show host played by that guy. He was Harry Osborn in the original 3 Spider-Man films. Let me just find out his name because he's really famous and I can't remember it. I keep pressing the wrong button. It's James Franco. So it's James Franco and Seth Rogen who run a big talk show in America, and they find out that it's Kim Jong-un's favorite TV show, and they get the opportunity to do an interview with Kim Jong-un.
Is this the controversial one you were saying?
Yeah, and they fly over to Korea, but before they go, the CIA recruit them to kill Kim Jong-un, do an assassination, and they put he has to put a poison strip on his hand and shake his hand in the interview, but Kim Jong-un gives him a puppy, so he decides he doesn't want to do it, and then changes his mind and exposes all these secrets about North Korea, like the fact that Kim Jong-un does really have a butt, and they blow up his helicopter and he dies, and they kill Kim Jong-un. But Kim Jong-un threatened Sony and America if that film was released. And it was released in the end. It's quite a good film.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a good film. This is better than there's a man and he has to get up to for a job interview and he goes to a job interview.
My next film is Safe Haven.
Safe Haven. Right. Okay. There's a girl. Correct.
Yes.
There's a girl. She's having a tough time. She's got to get away. She's like, guys, I want to go away. And everyone's
Let me just double check.
Everyone's, I don't want to go away. We don't have the time. She's, I'm going away. I'm going to the countryside. I'm imagining, because we've had a film set in Paris, a film set in a ski chalet, and now we've got a film set in the countryside. And she goes to her safe haven. And she's, I'm alone, I'm intentionally single, and nothing could stop me. I'm going to work on my projects. I've got projects to work on. And I don't need inspiration, but she realizes I need damn inspiration. So she goes out, she sets out, I'm going to get inspired. And everything comes along and she's turning her nose up at it. I don't want these experiences. And she meets this guy. This guy's from the place. She's a city girl. He's a small town boy. Kind of like Don't Stop Believing, but reversed. And she's like, ugh, you're filthy. And he's like, yeehaw! I just want to show the town. And she's like, ugh, you smell like pig muck. And he's like, I'm a farmer. Yeah. And they meet and they realise that they're from two different worlds. Their worlds aren't too far apart in the end anyway.
Close.
Really? Go on, tell me what the film's about.
Oh, no, I just need to...
Is it going to be the other way around? And she was a city girl and he was a small town boy? The other way. He was a city boy. She's just a small town girl.
Okay.
It's
It's not as cheesy as my other films. It sounds cheesy, but it's not as cheesy.
I'll be the judge of that.
You will think it's cheesy. Okay, so there's this girl.
Mm-hmm.
She's goes to North Carolina.
Okay. The towns.
What?
She goes with the townspeople.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rocks up and goes to this shop where this guy works.
Yeah.
He has a daughter. He's a widow.
Oh, I've seen this.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I think so. Carry on.
And then she ends up living there.
Yeah.
And then they obviously fall in love, and she has this friend there. Can't remember what she's called. She has brown hair.
Yeah.
And then they end up getting along. There's a son, I think, and a daughter, actually. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
And then they become really close. But then there's a dark twist. So 4th of July, they have all the fireworks and stuff set up.
And the kid's strapped to a firework.
Basically, nearly.
Oh.
So the start pass of Katie's past, spoiler alert, he abused her.
Oh.
So she ran away and got a new identity as Katie. Changed everything about her. New life, new name, everything.
You could have told me this before I made the joke about she got strapped to a firework.
And the girl, the kid,
Yeah.
is in the house, in the shop, but it also has a room where I think the mum used to be. And then this guy who abused her went into the shop and said bye to it.
Ooh.
So it's all about making sure they try and help this girl, and then they're falling out in love, not the girl and the woman, but the family. And then the friend that she made turns out to be the mum, who's a ghost.
What? Really? They bring a ghost in. This film was getting to a place that it was maybe watchable. And you're like, boo! I was the mum!
It's a good film. Okay.
Sounds ridiculous. Someone definitely was like, I'm writing a masterpiece. How do I finish it? And I was a ghost all along.
But it's the mum going, you're right for my husband and my kids.
No one's right for the husband. The husband should be in prison.
There you
Is that it? Is that the film?
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't find the last film after.
Oh,
But I'm going to see if you listened well when I explained this film to you.
Okay.
Okay. This film is An American Pickle. What is it, Rach?
This guy,
Yeah.
set in the 1900s, I think.
When?
I can't remember.
Okay.
Early.
Yeah.
And then it's like a pickle factory or something like that. And then he goes and pickles and dies. But then he comes back alive because the pickles juice kind of saved him. And then he's in modern day America.
Right, so An American Pickle is a film. It starts in the 1920s. And he's got a wife and a family and whatever. And his wife's pregnant. And he's working hard to bring home the bacon. Not real bacon because he works in a pickle factory. But the money. And he falls into a pickle vat. A vat of pickle juice. He doesn't die. He gets perfectly preserved.
Basically.
And brined. But the day that happens, the factory closes. And they leave him in there. And no one's touched this factory until he gets found 100 years later in 2020. Last year. And then he wakes up and he's in the modern day. and some scientists do tests on him, and they find out there's a relative that lives in the city. The relative is also Seth Rogen, so he acts alongside himself, and he
Basically got it right.
He tries to start up a pickle company. Well, he starts selling pickles on the side of the street, and his like great grandson tries to make a pickle website for him to sell them, and they fall out. But eventually, they come together and realize that with their knowledge, they can do really good things.
Basically what I said.
But better.
I've got one to ask you
Go on.
really quickly. Ben refuses to watch this, so I want to know if he knows the storyline. Marley and Me.
Marley and Me, yeah. It's about Jennifer Aniston and Owen Wilson, and they've got a dog, right? And their lives are better because they've got a dog, as everyone's life is when you've got a dog. And dogs are pure and brilliant, and they're loving life. They've got this dog, and the dog falls ill. And they think, do you know what? We'll ruin everyone's life. Let's kill a dog on screen. And they have the dog put down, and everyone's sad. And no one, not one person, ever in the world should make a film where a dog dies. Kill Bambi's mum, I don't care. Kill Simba's dad, kill a dog, especially a Labrador or a golden retriever or whatever Marley is. Don't kill it. I've watched it before. I can't remember it because it's a horrible film. Don't ever kill a dog in TV.
And Jennifer Aniston, they fall in love, they get married, and it follows the journey of him moving from like the city to like to LA.
To LA is what she's saying, is what she's mumbling over there.
To Florida.
To Florida.
And they have kids, and it's all about their story and about the dog. And the dog gets ill, but if they kept the dog alive, it would have died anyway.
I don't mind people
Jasper is gonna die.
Right, don't ever say that. He's a pure little lad.
Holly is gonna die.
Stop, I love them.
Get over the fact that's life.
Yes, it's life, but it doesn't need to be put in a film. That's why I don't watch Schindler's List. It happened, I don't want to watch it.
It's a good film.
Do you know what's better than Schindler's List? There's a lift company called Schindler's List.
Well, that's been this segment.
It's a real company. Check it out, Google it.
No. Well.
That was too many wells. It was too many.
Well.
Thank you.
Well.
No! It's the end of the podcast.
The end of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it.
Another week, another day, another dollar.
Last week we said we were going to do something this week, but we're doing that next week.
Oh, well, we actually said at the end of last week we're going to do it next week. As in next week from now.
We have got the amazing person coming onto the podcast.
Jack Black?
No.
One day it's coming.
And it's going to be sick.
Jack Black. Coming to talk about blackjack. Jack Black's going to teach us blackjack.
We are going to talk a bit about how to look after ourselves in this time.
Yeah, mental health wise.
Yes.
Yeah. And we're not experts. It's a conversation.
No. This is just like some fun and healthy tips that we do.
Yeah. Maybe not fun. Healthy.
No, like having a bath.
This is episode 4 of Why Not Having a Bath. I really hope the advice isn't just that, because if it is, don't bother listening to next week's.
But yeah, we have Lucy coming onto the podcast, and
Fingers crossed.
Works
she's free
and setting up an amazing charity.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that next week.
We will.
This week's all about Joe and his band Shades. Shades_OFC.
Love you, Joe.
Right. That has been
Why Not
the podcast with your hosts. You first.
Ben.
And Rachel. Thanks for listening.
Bye.